So my presentation I did over is actually, or was going to do over, is over Assassin's Creed 3. Basically, half my papers are about this. Well, story kind of begins long story short. It kind of begins off with a Haytham Kenway. He's kind of gives off the whole smooth 007 kind of vibe, as in assassin. And you may initially play the game, like I want to say a fourth of the way through him, and you assume that he is the assassin. You're gonna be playing as the more important assassin. Well, after that part, you actually realize that after Braddock's assassination, the Native American he was assisting, actually they have some kind of sexual relation to where she ends up having his child. Well, that child is a main character, and he's the assassin you end up taking the role of and playing throughout the game. And it's a tough name to pronounce. His name is Rod. I'm not going to try this, but initially he adopts the name Connor, the American name, to kind of fit in society. Well, as Connor, you learn to hunt, you learn how to live the Native American lifestyle, and then after a while, you run into one of Haytham's men, and then he's asking you where he can find your tribe, because obviously he's trying to get you off the land. Well, you don't tell him, he knocks you out unconscious, and you come back home stumbling back after a haze of just what seems to be some kind of amnesia. You come across your tribe and it is set on fire. And then you try going to save as many as you can, and then you find your mother that she's burnt to death. And the game proceeds, and soon enough you're actually leaving the tribe yourself to actually start your own journey and start your own thing. Well, that's when you have your own spiritual meeting, I want to say, and the oracle there tells you that you are in search of a certain person who will guide you to become the man you're going to be. And as he sets off, you play as him. That's when his journey actually begins. You end up coming across a Davenport residence, and there you meet with Achilles. He's a long-time assassin. He's trained many. Well, he's a black assassin. Therefore, him being an Indian and him being a black assassin, they both somehow can relate, since they're both on the outskirts and kind of looked down upon by society in a way. Well, initially he doesn't want to train you. He doesn't see you fit. Not anyone can come up and just ask. Well, soon enough you prove that you are worthy, and Achilles takes you in. He teaches you the story, the history, everything you need to know about being an assassin. He teaches you. So at the same time as he's learning, you learn more of the story. Then he starts taking you into society and tries to bring you in and kind of give you an understanding of what life is outside of a tribe. There you learn to do missions and just actually put your pride to the side and set personal vendettas to the side and actually just focus on the big plan, which is to stop the Templars. The Templar being his father, Haytham, and his men. Well, throughout the game, you are constantly fighting that. You are constantly fighting the urge to find that person you want to find and assassinate him, compared to doing what you can now to help society and help build the colony into a better society to can function. Well, of course, throughout the game, and then here comes into the game, and you end up assassinating the man you've been looking for throughout the whole time, Charles Lee, one of Haytham Kenway's right-hand man. Then, of course, you end up assassinating your own father, Haytham Kenway. As you do a couple missions with him, you find that y'all's beliefs are different from each other. You guys are not alike in any way, aside from the fact that you guys are motivated and get consumed by your mission at hand. Of course, you have the game. It doesn't initially end. You can keep playing. There's plenty of missions. There are plenty of things to do aside from just following the story itself. There's many missions. There's delivery missions. There's just so much you can do that the game is actually one of the longest games ever created. It is actually a sandbox kind of game where it's basically free to roam to do whatever you want. Aside from assassinating the citizens, you can assassinate government officials, henchmen, I'm not going to say this, more British soldiers. I don't see why they're still on there, but they're still there. Then you can actually go and do other little side missions to help you bring in more friends, I want to say, more allies, and you can use them to help conquer lands and free lands. You initially don't really have much to do with it, but the fact that you send them out and tell them what to do, that gives you the credit in a way. Well, aside from that, the genre of the game is an action-adventure. It combines elements of an adventure game along with the various action elements. Because this game actually, Assassin's Creed 3 differs from 2 and 1 and every other Assassin's Creed made because of that specific, I guess you can say, area, the action portion. There's more to do on top of that. The combos are more complex. Depending on the weapon you have, you can actually vary on a certain combo you can use to, let's say, assassinate 2 guys at once compared to just doing it one at a time. They are very, 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 very sophisticated, but once you get the hang of it, you kind of learn how to do them all. There's also driving boats, riding them across the ocean, having battles at sea, the Chesapeake Bay, for instance. It's pretty graphic. Pretty much the theme of the game is a glorification of the past, because he's constantly brought memories about his tribe and about how they was burned down when he was little, and how Charles Lee, the man that he's searching for, had him right then and there, and he swore to Charles Lee he would find him and kill him. And throughout the whole game, he's just troubled by the fact that he wants to find Charles Lee and avenge his tribe. But that is a personal vendetta he goes through, because he's constantly reminiscing on the past, which fuels him to go forward and keep doing what he's doing. When in fact, it's better off to let go of that grudge and just focus on what's then and there and what's possible you can do now, which is what Achilles is trying to show him. And of course, you end up finding Charles Lee. That's pretty much it for my presentation. Yeah, let me know if there's any questions.